Hello and welcome to The Aftermath. My name is Ian, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Dylan.
Yeah, it's me.
And it's been a long time since I've called you lovely. So
yeah, lovely ain't the word I use to describe it, bro.
I thought the cheerful was a little too... Today is a very special episode. And for those of you who listened to last week's episode, we have hyped up our boy, Myron.
Under the bus with you. Perform.
Okay.
How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. I'm not going to lie. I was really excited to get your very beautiful voice on this podcast.
The promised day has arrived.
Absolutely.
See, that's what I'm talking about.
Dulcet tones. Everyone.
So from what I'm pretty sure that Dylan on this show specifically has introduced you as like the guy who knows his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I mean, when
the
it comes,
motherfucker that's on the level.
I love it.
right?
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I really don't have a full structure for this show. We were supposed to watch something, but I got really tied up before the show, and so I went ahead and told Myron that this was all just an elaborate ploy to get him on a second episode.
Of course.
So I was like, we got him in with the first one, and then we were like, oh yeah, we'll watch something, and then I was like, psych, we'll get you in for a second one.
The bait was the Venus Wars.
Right.
Right.
And they got my stupid ass. Venus Wars? Oh, I
Hook,
get to come
line,
over
and
and watch
sinker.
Venus Wars, and then we got to do an episode afterwards?
Yeah,
Because that was the plan. That was the genuine
Yes.
plan.
That was the plan, and
But
then
man,
right.
As soon as I show up, ain't no fucking Venus Wars.
Yeah. I see how this
we
was.
tricked you.
You bring me in, and you what is it? You bribe me with pizza. You bribe me with pizza, and you promise all these fun things. Here I am, a chump. Anyways,
Happens
so
to the best of us.
I think it would be. I think it'd be really great to kind of, I think, drudge up a little bit how, like, what was there a conversation between you and Myron, Dylan, that like really somehow like sparked the friendship or like helped the conversation start? Like, that's what I'm curious about, because
I think it started with the music you were playing, like early in the morning in those truck shifts.
Yeah.
We were unloading all the totes. This motherfucker was playing everything that I loved. I was like, who is this dude? And why does he have all of my same music tastes?
right.
Yeah.
A little background. Myron and Dylan worked together for a brief time. That's how he got initiated into the friend group.
That's
and
true.
So I'm that's what I was curious about. So I guess
Right.
that's kind of how it all started then.
Mm-hmm.
But
He, from what I remember, you had initiated most conversations, like asking me about what kind of video games I played, showing me like footage of your CRT displays that looked amazing.
Oh,
He's the
yeah.
main reason I want to get a CRT TV now.
of course,
Oh, I love it. Thank you.
yeah.
He's provided so many examples how these old games look amazing on these old displays.
Right.
It's insane to me.
I didn't get that until I saw a video recently that talked about it, and I was like, I get it now.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I see what you mean. It was made for it.
right.
It was made for
You are going to
Right,
get
right.
de
Designed for
facto the best display from one of those TVs.
I bet.
You're right. It makes perfect sense. Now, I mean, I got to give some backstory to when I first met Dylan. I mean, I just saw him, and he was just different.
Right.
It was like, it's kind of like in JoJo.
You can say it lovely. He was a
It's kind of like in JoJo when you see a stand user and it's just
Right,
they're
like-
emitting this main character energy. Like, who the hell has a fucking pompadour?
You're right.
What's up with this guy? I got to see about it.
You're right. Main character energy is a good. Is a good.
And Dylan had it.
That's funny.
He had a leather jacket on and
Hell
a
yeah.
chain on his, and he just looked badass as fuck.
Yeah.
I got to see what this guy's about. So I went up to him and I just started shooting the shit. I had no idea that me and him had like all of the same crap in common.
Oh yeah, it's insane. It's like I was meeting a long lost twin.
Right.
Yes.
And I know you guys both have, I guess, I would say, out of the friend group as a whole, you guys know, or you guys talk a lot about like fighting games. That has been the thing that I think I've heard you guys both.
Oh yeah,
And I to preface, I never used to play a lot of fighting games. I think the fighting game I used to play the most back in the day was Tekken Tag.
yes.
Or
man.
or I forgot what
Said
Soul Calibur.
Tekken 4, right? You played that one a good bit.
Whichever one was on the PS2.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah,
played
yeah.
that could
Four.
be, that could be a few of them. Yeah.
Tag 4 and 5 were on PS2.
It was
Three of them.
It was probably Tag and 4, if I was to guess.
Yeah,
And then
wanna
I
play
think,
Tag again, bro.
and then I want to say that I think it was Soul Calibur 5 on the PS3.
Mhm.
Those were like the only like fighting games I ever like really played. My brother had Injustice and he played a whole bunch of that, but I never was good at that one. But anyways, like I haven't played a lot of fighting games until Dylan has like showed me Arc
The
System
repertoire.
Works. I mean,
Arc System Works,
everything.
SNK.
You're right.
Blue.
Grand Blue, yeah, all of
Oh,
it.
yeah. Now, what really threw me over the line, and as soon as I figured out, like, this, he knows his shit, as soon as you told me about how you knew about Fatal Fury.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh
Fatal
yeah,
fucking Fury, dude. Nobody knows about that shit.
right. So that was
At least that's what it feels
that was
like.
it was a deep cut for you,
Right.
You were like, yeah, this is it, right?
Gyaru Densetsu.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's a legendary, like, just Japanese old school fighting game, you know? And I'm surprised that he knew about it. So I felt the same way about him. He felt about me when I knew he with
Right.
it too. You know?
Right,
Same
right.
deal with, like, Art of Fighting and, what was the other one? Like, all the early, like, King of Fighters titles.
Yeah,
But, man, it was just insane to me.
yeah, that is
I
crazy.
I didn't think I'd meet anyone else who knew about that other than me.
Right. Well, I mean, like at least again, until Myron came along, I don't think none of our friends had really knew that kind of stuff.
I had gotten one of the collections on the PS4, and I was like, "Anybody want to try their hand at beating geese?"
Oh yeah,
And I think
I remember
yes,
that.
Yes,
and no one could do
Fight
it.
Night 21, bro. I think Kobe was the one that came closest.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who he was playing as when he did it, but I remember that was crazy.
Predictable.
Yeah.
Stand up
You cannot escape from death.
Yeah.
That's so good, dude.
So I guess is there a favorite fighting game that you have?
There are so many.
I
There's so
know
many.
because I remember when before Dylan had moved in, it was around the time when Dragon Ball Fighters had came out, so he played a lot of that.
That was
And I remember
my
that
main
was
squeeze for a while.
You're right.
Mm.
And then I remember there was so much. There was like I remember even at that time I think you had talked about Strive a little bit before like it even came out or it was like a thing.
Right.
So I remember we played XR a whole bunch.
Mm-hmm.
But like you didn't really get me hooked until we had tried the campaign mode for Grand Blue Fantasy Versus.
And we found out it had co-op with that RPG mode, dude.
Oh,
We
right.
plowed through that shit.
And dude, I don't
that
know
was
why.
so
I
much
don't.
fun.
I don't know why. I never would have guessed that I would have liked it, but it scratched an itch for me that I was like, oh yeah, I'm here for it. Let's do it.
Yeah, for sure.
I still remember those bosses, dude. Oh my god. Because they're structured almost like raid bosses in
Yes.
an RPG.
Right.
Oh, wow.
It is.
There's like phases and stuff, and like,
Right.
especially
certain,
I think
like maneuvers you have to pull off to avoid different attacks. It's ridiculous.
Whoa.
there was a point in time where you can have like abilities, like you have two abilities, like that are like they're like long cooldown abilities. One of them is like a heal, you can have a buff and stuff like that.
A full revive.
Right, exactly. So I was like the support where I had like a full revive and then like a almost full heal, I think.
I was running attack and defense debuffs for whatever we were fighting,
Right.
as well as like a full recharge for both of our super meters.
Right.
Whoa.
So there was a couple times where like it was like strategically placed where we would both get down low on health. Like it was just this like rotation of like
Character.
he would like a lot of times like if I was getting low on health or if we were both getting low on health, I made sure he always died 1st because if he died first, I can instantly revive him, and then if I died, it's fine. He can carry us through the end.
right. All the way to the
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Grand Blue is a sexy game.
It's
just
great.
Gorgeous.
Beautiful.
I love it.
I cannot wait for Relink.
Oh gosh,
That cannot come out soon enough.
And when's the RPG coming out? The
that's Relink. Yeah.
open world. Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we have no idea.
Yeah.
They've
They've been
released-
showing that game for
10
years.
10 years.
Oh, yeah.
and it's like, damn, this looks
Almost a couple decades they've been working on this thing.
It doesn't make any sense. It's kind of like Phantasy Star Online too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
What's
That one took forever. Oh, God.
it took forever, so long for them to come out with it that they made a whole nother game.
Right.
Really?
Within that
Because,
time
yes.
span. It's insane. But part of me is glad that they're just taking their time and doing everything they need to do. Because if you're gonna tell me that I waited this long for them just to push out a piece of shit,
That's true.
I'm gonna be so upset. Because it looks so fun. It looks like exactly what I was hoping for out of this series.
I don't know if, before you continue though, I don't know if you meant to say that or not, but pushing out a piece of shit.
Oh no, I meant that.
Okay.
I meant that.
That's what I felt like.
Constipation would
I
not
got it.
begin to describe that development
Right.
cycle.
You're right.
Because
I am a little bit tired of like the games that on release are like, oh, we'll just patch it.
Yeah,
and
we'll just
post.
finish
And
it
it's like,
later.
Yeah,
it's
right.
no big deal. That's how I'm feeling with Exoprimal right now.
You're right.
Because
Full
as
price.
fun as that core gameplay loop is, it feels bare bones.
Oh wow.
Because there might as well be only one game mode, and that's it.
Yeah.
And it was. I know you got discount codes for it, but
I did.
if you're gonna buy it though, I think it's $60.
Oh
right?
yeah, it's full price.
And it's like
That's
man,
like a brand spanking new like complete title, which it is not.
right. That's hard.
Yeah.
They need to like add some more stuff to that soon, or else it's gonna die, man.
It kind of feels like I don't know how to equate it to what do you like negative reinforcement where it's like we've
Tripping at the starting line.
well it's like if you don't discipline a child correctly, it's like if the child has done it this way for so long, all of a sudden you being like, don't do that. It's like, I mean, I've been doing it for this long. It's fine.
Right,
It's
it's
whatever.
like, yeah, but that's not good.
I feel like that's like, I feel like probably 5 or 10 years ago, I don't think we did a good enough job being like, you can't just do that. You can't just charge us full price for a game and then, fix it later. And now it's like the standard now where it's like,
Just
everyone's
batting
like,
an eye for too long.
right.
I feel like that just goes to show you like the state of the era of gaming that we're in, where back in the day, you come out with a product, that's the product. You can't really update it. So if you got a glitch in it, there's pros and cons to it.
Right.
But they've gotten very comfortable releasing a game and be like, okay, well, we'll just update it. We'll just throw in some DLC. We'll just leave a bunch of crap that was supposed to be in the game to create a full, enjoyable experience and just leave it so they can give us more money. And we can just do it later because that's the tech now. It's the internet, and we can just update it anytime we want. So like when Cyberpunk came out and it was fucking everybody's shit up. I mean,
It was bad.
yeah.
That's crazy.
God damn, dude.
And that also was a game that had been in development hell for a long time, right?
God, yeah.
Cyberpunk was talked about
Years.
for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Wasn't CD Projekt Red in talks of doing another Witcher game,
I don't know, man. I think so.
or was the kind of mostly failure of Cyberpunk kind of what?
I think their debacle with Cyberpunk probably put everything else on the
Halted it,
back
okay.
burner for a while.
I'm pretty sure the game still did relatively well in terms
Yeah.
of sales.
I
Like,
mean,
I got a buddy
definitely.
who still plays it, and I mean, I'm pretty sure they've cleaned it up now.
Yes,
rather
definitely.
than when it first released.
You remember Dakota was over a while back. He had finished out one of his different playthroughs, and it looked great.
Oh yeah, I think the reason I'm saying like it didn't do as well is like I think I could be wrong, but like the big game they released before that was like Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, right?
Yeah,
That was the last big title,
right.
And
They had some.
I don't want to I don't make assumptions here, but I'm pretty sure Wild Hunt did really well back in the day.
Oh yeah,
True.
you kidding me?
Yeah.
That's facts.
But
Yeah.
as opposed to I think what maybe may have done to Cyberpunk. So I could be wrong though.
No, you're probably right.
So, but
And
that's
I mean, if they got a Netflix series, I'm pretty sure
Right. That's
they brought home the bacon.
you're right.
They got enough to have Netflix series money.
Yeah,
If we
That's
can,
true.
I don't know how much
we
that.
can break that down.
And Superman, Henry Cavill,
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
which I mean, there was supposed to be a season 2, and he just opted out of it because some craziness. I know we're all over the place, but yeah.
Right.
And I can't stand the whole business model, quote unquote, that they're going with for most games. It feels like,
Right.
in that regard, at least.
I've got a question.
What's up?
So, since we were originally talking about fighting games,
No.
X, Y, and Z.
Okay,
Oh, no.
I'm playing.
And I know you don't really. Well, what was your first fighting game? What was the game that got you into fighting games, if you want to say? I mean, both of you can answer this. And I mean, you did say you played Tekken. You could go with your first experience.
I'm trying to think if I I don't think I played like any of the classic 2D ones.
Mm-hmm.
I think I knew of them, obviously. I knew of Street Fighter. I knew of Mortal Kombat. But like, I always like watch my friends play those.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't. That's interesting.
Yeah, I know for a fact my first exposure to any kind of like fighting game, quote unquote, was Smash 64.
Oh,
nice.
Smash!
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a friend who had a GameCube, and which one was on the GameCube?
Melee.
Melee.
Yep.
He played a bunch of Melee.
Yep.
I was also trash at that game.
Oh, yeah.
See, but it was just so goddamn good
You're right.
that you're almost willing to overlook anything you don't like about the game.
Right.
The soundtrack, like the orchestration for Melee, is to this day one of my favorite scores ever made for a video game.
It was
It just
really good.
sounds so good.
Hell yeah.
I think for me, the game that I played the most, that like my earliest memory of like playing a fighting game was, I think, Tekken Tag. But I don't think I got into it.
Mhm.
I never really liked playing them a whole lot. I was kind of a button masher kid.
Oh yeah.
I never really like did the
I mean,
whole
who isn't at that point?
the strategy. But I will say, I think the game that has really got me into it, as far as like looks and soundtrack, has been Guilty Gear, and then the
Yeah.
one that I've played and I like loved the most, it has been Grand Blue Fantasy Versus.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, so those, like, out of those, like those are the ones that
Big ones you can't.
Dylan over here has really like paved that way where I was like, yo, this is
Primary
like,
suspect.
these games are pretty and like really good, and like I mean tight, like all of it. It's like super good.
Remember, everybody was flipping their lids as soon as they saw what XR was going to look like and how it was all these like this mesh between 3D and 2D,
Super
like
cool.
motion.
Yeah.
It was insane, and that part of that is why it hooked me on the series initially.
Right.
But man, as soon as I heard the soundtrack,
Oh yeah, you can't go wrong with the soundtrack of
I have
Guilty
dedicated
Gear.
entire swaths of my favorites playlist
Yeah.
to entire soundtracks from that series.
Yeah.
It's
about-
insane.
What about you, Myron?
Oh, for me, I could probably extensively talk about the origins of where fighting games for me came from for a while,
Yeah.
because it was multiple different areas. It wasn't just like one game that I got into. Now, the first game I remember playing, period, was probably Soul Calibur.
Really?
Yeah. On the
Like
Dreamcast.
the first one?
Yeah.
There you go.
Me
Wow.
that was the first console I remember my dad having in his room, and he would invite me in his room, of course, to sit down and play some games of Soul Calibur. But I was too young to really know what the game's name was. So, all I remember was me playing with the character Lizard Man.
Oh
And every time we'd be fighting, the match would end, and then they would say, "Out of the ring," And so I just knew it as the out of the ring game.
yeah. I love it.
My dad traded.
Do you know about how old you were at that time?
I had to be about 3, maybe.
Wow,
So
really?
it had to be
Okay,
like
started you early.
2000.
Yeah.
It had to be like
There you
2000,
go.
2001.
Okay, yeah.
And after that, my dad traded in the Sega Dreamcast for the original Microsoft Xbox. And when he got the Xbox, he got a couple of games. And I remember being with him and him specifically asking for a fighting game. So one of those were Dead or Alive 3.
Okay.
On the Xbox, which was also a game that came out in 2001. And that was a game that I kind of could say that I spent a lot of time privately on, where I got to really engulf myself in a fighting game and just be alone with it.
Yeah.
But I feel like it kind of runs in my blood to play fighting games, because my dad would always tell me these fables about him playing people at arcades in Street Fighter 2 when it first dropped. In
The
Street Fighter.
family business.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's in my blood.
But the soul still burns.
Yes. And Street Fighter 2 is kind of like the godfather of
Right, the
all fighting
quintessential.
games.
Yeah.
Yes. Every fighting game owes Street Fighter 2 props, because it was like, so my dad would tell me stories about him playing with Chun-Li and him beating a bunch of people at arcades and people getting pissed off at him and da-da-da-da. It was like, son, I fought all the masters. I fought Dawson Masters, Blanca Masters.
That is
da-da-da-da.
amazing.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he even told
Come
me.
sit by the fire, boy. Let me
Yeah.
recount you a tale
Yes.
from my youth. That is
sure.
it.
While I
It's
fight in the
amazing.
streets.
And you know what's so crazy? My uncle who's only 11 years older than me. He got me really into video games and Japanese fighting games.
Yeah.
That's all he used to play. And he used to play Super Smash Bros. Melee when it came out. He never used to let me in his room. But I always wanted to come in there because he had all the video games.
Right. All the
But
cool
he's
stuff.
a fighting game
Machine
guru. Yes. He has all of it. He introduced me to King of Fighters. He introduced me to Smash, everything. So he would always be playing fighting games. So I was always kind of like in an arena with it. So it's only natural that I would, play it and have a sentimental value, with those type of games.
Right. A little nostalgia.
Yeah. I know I went all over the place.
No, that's okay. No. So do you know,
That's the kind of backstory I was looking for.
I'm pretty sure, I think I've talked about this on the show, but for this episode, I'll go ahead and say it again. Have I told you about like my first console, like the whole story?
You said something about a PS2.
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a point in time where I had went over to, I had family that lived in Oklahoma, and we had went there on a vacation, and my cousin had a PlayStation 1, and she had Spyro, and that was the first game I ever played, was like the original Spyro on the PlayStation 1, and I loved it. I fell in love with playing the game. I remember coming back home and telling my family that I really wanted one, and I want to say this was around 2001, which I think is the launch of the PS2.
Yep. November 2000.
Right. And that Christmas, my family was like, we're not going to buy you a game console. Right. Not going to do it. Can't do it. And it's not going to be it. So, yeah. And so, like, the whole time, that was my conception of it. I was like, not going to get it, but I'm going to keep asking for it.
No hopes.
Yeah, no hopes. And then that Christmas, I got the PlayStation 2 for Christmas, and I was like, holy shit. Not only did I get a PlayStation, I got the 2.
Nice.
See, that's so nice. That's a very roundabout way.
Bruh. And I had...
They break you down to build you back up.
But when I tell you, when I open... Like, my 2 younger brothers and myself opening up that box, man, the glee inside my spirit, dude. I was like, I never felt, because I was like,
pure jubilation.
Because at that point, like I said, I was looking for just a regular PlayStation.
Oh, yeah.
I to be honest, as a kid at that point, I want to say I was probably like 7 or whatever. So at that point, like, I mean, I don't really know I don't think I thought anything. It was just a big box, wrapping paper on it. So I was like, it's whatever.
Yeah.
But I remember that. We plugged it up. And I think I played for like the rest of the afternoon. I think I had an old Scooby-Doo game. There was this, and I showed you music from it. There's this old Looney Tunes space race. It's hard to find now. Apparently, I would like to.
I found a copy at the game where
I want to get it real bad. It's a game that has no right to have music that goes that hard in like a Looney Tunes racing game. But dude, it was
the last place you would expect to find a good soundtrack.
And I remember playing the hell out of that game, partially because I was like, man, this music's like really good. And
the
like
groove kept you going.
And then of course listening back to it, like, even it still holds up today. But anyways, there's a whole bunch of other games that I got, but a lot of like classic PS2 games is where like the nostalgia really hits home for me, because I never had a console before that. So like I had some friends that had like Super Nintendos and stuff like that, but like the one that really speaks to
what
my
a starting
soul
point
was the PlayStation.
That was great. That's a great story, actually.
I want to hear the classic Tomb Raiders, like because again, I think the PlayStation 2 could still play PlayStation 1 games.
Absolutely.
So I bought like all the Tomb Raider games, so I had all that stuff.
Wow.
So, yeah. Oh, and if you better believe, I bought all the Spyro games, because that was like
of course,
1, 2, and 3.
Yeah,
the whole trilogy.
So good.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
I want to hear everybody's PS2 story.
Yeah.
Dylan, what's your PS2 story?
I don't have one.
Oh no? Why not?
I started off with Nintendo consoles, and then from then on, it was Xbox for a good while.
Oh yeah.
And then we got a PS3.
Yeah.
I have a PS3 story.
Okay. Wait, but before we continue though, I will say, in storage just beyond that wall is that original PlayStation 2 that I had when I was a kid. So I still have it. I'm pretty sure it still works, but I haven't actually turned it on.
That is a relic. You got to boot it up.
It's been a while, but I need to. It's the big hunker.
Wasn't it missing a couple things, or did you have everything with it?
No, I think the old PlayStation 3 that I had, it had the whole all it overheated or whatever. But that
sucks.
the classic PS3 that I had, whenever it went out, I was like, you know what? I think I did. I ran that PlayStation 3 hard, the classic one.
Oh yeah,
has the Spider-Man font on.
Oh, the fat one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fat.
Yeah. No, like the glossy one. Yeah, it has
it's the best one.
I always said the Spider-Man font because like
that's what it looked like.
That's what it was.
Right,
that was a Sony patent because Sony
of course.
owns the movie rights.
Yeah. So, anyways, what were we gonna say about your PS3?
Back when Circuit City was still around.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, dang.
My
Showing your
dad
age.
had brought us. My pappy had brought us to Circuit City. Yeah. And we picked up the launch edition PS3 that came with Metal Gear Solid 4.
No way.
Yes.
Sons of the Patriots?
Yes, the very same.
No way.
And
Damn.
I had never heard of Metal Gear up to that point.
And
I started on 4. I've told you this before. Yeah.
Yes, I forgot about that.
And I didn't know what the fuck was going on, but I fell in love with the characters and the game itself. Like the gun, like the firearm sandbox that you can pull off with that, bro. And how if you go into the inventory viewer, they have like these little 3D models of the guns that you can look at with descriptions of each gun. I thought that was so fucking cool. And they did that for like every item as well, like the Solid Eye that has like 3 different vision modes.
Yeah.
All sorts of crazy stuff. And as soon as I saw the fucking Metal Gears themselves, I was like, I'm sold.
Yeah.
I'm even more sold than I was before.
You mean big robot?
Are you kidding me? Oh, man.
Oh, yeah, that was right up your alley. That was the perfect game for you to play.
I'm telling you. As soon as I started hearing that people didn't like 4, I was like, what the fuck are they on? You kidding me?
You mean
like I played through a Swan song?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's crazy.
That's a good story.
It was crazy. Yeah. I remember we booted it up for the first time in the living room. I got the game started up and everything, and everybody was just watching, and they're like, man, these cutscenes are really long. Like, what's going on?
It's a movie.
Right.
Yeah.
But I just kept going with it, and it was one of the craziest games and coolest games I have ever played.
Wow.
Like, bar none. That's in my top 10.
Wow.
Easily.
Really?
Yes.
That's powerful.
Wow.
I will sing its praises until the cows come home.
Before I talk about my PS3 story, do you have a PS2 origin story?
I do. I definitely do. Oh, okay. So I'll do the 2, and then we'll go through the 3.
Right.
Because I got a 3 story as well. So I didn't get a PS2 until way later on in the lifespan. I think the PS3 had probably just come out when I finally got a PS2. But of course, the PS2 was still relevant at that moment. I mean,
isn't it like one of the most sold?
It is
console,
the highest selling console of all time at 155 million units, I believe.
Jeez.
Number 1 still to this day. And
that's crazy.
Yeah, it was 2006, and I was playing this game called Kingdom Hearts 2.
Oh, dude.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
At my uncle's house, and I'm like, what the? I was 8 at the time, and I was like, this is the best game I've ever played in my life.
Yeah.
No. And so I was like, I got to get a PS2 because I have an Xbox, and all of the games that I want to play happen to be on Sony PlayStation 2.
Uh-oh.
So that was all I was asking for Christmas. Now, in my grandparents' room, I had been giving them a bunch of money that I'd been collecting, 5 and 1s and da-da-da-da-da.
Right.
So I had this box of money that I'd been collecting. It was about, I remember when I got to $100. I finally had $100 in this box. And so I remember one day my grandfather, he traded me. He was like, can I trade you that $100 you got in that box in my room for this $100 bill? I was like, of course. Yeah, $100 bill. This is the first time I've ever had a $100 bill.
Yeah.
And so
felt like the king of the world.
Yep.
Yeah. For a little kid, $100 is like $1 million bucks.
Bruh.
I remember my grandma gave me a 50. I was like, I can buy so much stuff with this. And I could buy one Lego set.
Right.
I bought like a Y-Wing, and that was it.
Yeah.
Yep.
There was I used to help out. I had a close friend of mine, and his family used to own like an apartment complex, and I used to help like help clean it a little bit or whatever for like some cash
I remember
money
that.
as like a kid or whatever. We like installed tint on the windows. I did like tile work. I did a whole bunch of like maintenance stuff. And again, he paid me in cash, and I was a kid, early teenager. I didn't know it was not hard work at all, but like he would pay me like $20, $40, and bro, and I was like, I look at him and be like, oh my god, dude, I'm so freaking rich.
That was like $1 million back
right.
then.
Oh yeah.
Like
well, it also felt very rewarding for me. Like I was like, I actively worked, and then of course I got like compensated end of day kind of thing. Where I was like, it felt very validating.
That's
Anyways,
so true.
what were you
That's so
saying?
true. Oh well, I said all that to say that I gave him my money. And that exact same Christmas, I was surprised to have opened up a slim Sony PlayStation 2.
Yeah.
And I was so happy. So happy. Now, when I looked back in the box, my $100 was gone. So I can see that he used that in order to purchase my PS2. But I was still happy because I had a freaking PS2. And the first game that I got, thank God, was the original Kingdom Hearts.
Yes,
Nice.
dude.
So
I still remember there was a time when my best friend at the time as a kid, he and I used to go to the Walmart and look around at the games case.
Like those old displays.
But
I miss those.
But
man.
but the big thing is that we would like look around, and then we would just like shop at the cases and then decide on what game we should buy
Judging
based on
books
like
by their covers.
exactly.
Yep.
And I remember he looked at Kingdom Hearts. And he was like,
is that fucking Goofy?
Yes. He's like, literally. I was like, is that Donald and Goofy on there? And like, I was like, I wonder what that is.
Right.
And then I'm pretty sure I had an idea of what Final Fantasy was, but I don't think I had like a full like grasp of what it was. Right. But I remember we bought it, and I remember the opening sequence of the game. And like the simple and clean track that opens up the game, the whole
CG
the
opening.
and the platform of stained glass, I mean like the first like 10 to 15 minutes of the game I played before I had to go back home. And I remember coming back to my two younger brothers at the time, and I was like,
You guys aren't gonna
I was
believe
like,
this
dude,
shit.
I'm not kidding you. I was like, dude, this song was like, din, 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 din. And I was like, and I just remember being like, dude, this game was so sick, and I was like, I have to have it. But at the same sort of thing, I remember, I think very shortly afterwards, I bought that game. And that was before the second one came out. I think it was still a new game at the time. But same thing. After I played it that first time, I fell in love with Kingdom Hearts. I was like, this is the best.
It's mind blowing,
Right.
And the graphics are technically to this day impressive.
And then of course, upon that, whenever the second one released, and it was like, it really takes a lot of the good things of the first game and like
replicate
and just makes it better. So I remember playing that one, and I was like, I just remember
Kingdom Hearts 2 is definitely like one of the best like third person action RPGs I know of.
I just remember playing it, was like this is peak. I can't even begin to guess the amount of hours I spent on my old PlayStation Slim playing Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yes, absolutely. That's why I'm wearing the shirt
Right now, dude.
because I had to represent for that game.
But yeah.
It's too legendary.
So at that point you bought the first one and you went back and played the OG.
Right, because two was out when I first got my PlayStation 2. Shortly after it released, March of 2006. That Kingdom Hearts 2 came out.
Yeah.
And by the end of that year at Christmas, I finally got the PS2. So I wanted to see what the first game was like.
Right.
After playing the second one and it being the greatest thing since sliced freaking bread.
Yeah.
And so I played the first one and I'm just like, this is awesome. I kind of played them backwards because my dad also got me a Game Boy Advance that year.
Oh, you played the
brand new.
OG?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
Chain
I
of
got
Memories?
Chain of
Yeah.
Memories, and then I got the first one all backwards, and then I started to play them up. But yeah,
That's awesome.
Best series.
I'll tell you what, another really formative game for me was the original Halo.
Oh God.
Halo Combat Evolved on the original Xbox. That was my go-to when I was a kid. I put like every time I would wake up, I would just immediately like run over to the Xbox and start it up again.
I know you threw out a wayward comment about how Metal Gear is in your top 10.
Right. Halo is my number one.
Really? I was going to say,
Halo.
I would wager your top 5 at least.
No,
Number
that's
one.
number one for me.
Oh man, this is all I gotta say.
Yeah. That's all harmonized together. I love it, dude.
So
I never
good.
owned an Xbox, but I had a lot of friends that had them. And I
Yeah,
remember whenever I was in high school, again, showing my age a little bit, Halo 3 came out when I was in high school, and we used to, like, I had friends used to play LAN parties all the time.
Oh, yeah.
The one that I played the most of, in multiplayer specifically, was Halo 3, because that was, like, a big, I think, like, wireless internet was kind of a big thing where you could, connect to each other with Xbox
Live.
Xbox Live, yeah. Anyways, it almost felt like a new thing,
Right.
But you said that you had a story about your PS3 story. I want to hear about that. What was that you said?
Now, this is a really great story.
Okay, I'm here for it.
I had been begging for a PS3 forever. I've been begging my parents, and they were like, "Yeah, I'll get you one."
Yeah.
But they were just stuff full of crap. So I was living in California at the time, and I really only had a Nintendo 64 at that time. Like, all of my old consoles and stuff like that had either been given away, taken, something happened to them. So I didn't really have anything but an N64. And this was around the time period of about, I want to say, it had to be like 2013. 13. And so, or 2012. Yeah. So, I was with my friend, and we had this GameStop that we would always hit up and go to. So I went there with him, and we were just going to look at some used games. In fact, at GameStop, you could purchase a used game, and within a week, you could return it and get all of your money back if you return the game within that week time period. So my friend, he used to just buy games and abuse them, and walk back to GameStop and return them and get the credit and buy a new game. So we went there, and, we were just going there having gaming conversations, and they had this one guy, and I was talking to him, and he had this Santa hat on, but I really wasn't thinking nothing of it. Kind of see where the story is going. Yeah. So I talked to this guy for 2 minutes, and I'm just like, yeah, I got a Nintendo 64. That's all I got right now, and but I love games, and I go to his house, and I play his Xbox 360, whatever. But I really love the PS3, and He was just like, well, I'm buying you a PS3 right now. And then I kind of was confused. I was confused as hell. Like, what? Huh? Are you serious? What? And he was like, no, like, I'm literally buying you a PS3 right now. He said, is 160 gigabytes good? I was like, hell yeah.
Are you kidding me?
I'm used to 8 megabyte what do you call them? Memory cards.
Right. Like, so that would be epic. And he straight up, just in my face, bought a total stranger. Wow. I was talking to him for 2 minutes.
That was Santa Claus you met that day.
Yes. He was a secret Santa, and he just bought me a piece.
There you go.
At that moment, I was walking out of the store, and I could kind of tell my friend, he was pissed. He was jealous as fuck but
grinning ear to ear.
Yeah, but it was like, I'm like, dude, like, he's literally the kid who his mom spoils him and gives him whatever he wants. So I'm just like, why are you tripping?
Let me have this.
Yeah, please, let me have this one motherfucking thing, please. As soon as we walked out and I had the PS3 in my hand, he was just like, you know what would be funny? You know what would be funny? If it was just a box of rocks.
Oh, my God.
Shut
up.
Yeah.
How dare you come up with an imaginary
Don't even
scenario.
talk to me.
I think that the PS3, by the time that came out, that was the one that I had saved up money for. And I purchased myself. Like, that was the first console I purchased for myself.
Yeah.
You want to know something funny?
What's that?
I think I got it pretty shortly after it released. And I got it with Sonic 06.
Oh, my God.
And
I love Sonic 06.
I remember playing the hell out of it, but it was a glitchy nightmare.
Oh, the story was bad. I love the multiplayer. I'm going to stand on all 10 behind the multiplayer. But
multiplayer?
Dude, and
the story is that.
You want to talk about the music?
Oh, yeah.
I love the music for that game.
That is a 10 out of 10 soundtrack.
Super good.
No, that soundtrack is
I
Crisis
mean,
City.
Dude, I'm telling I will say that Sonic has a pretty good track record for, like, pretty good soundtracks from what I remember.
That is so true.
Sonic Heroes has a really good soundtrack as well. Very classic.
Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic R, Sonic 3, Sonic Advance. Like,
hell yeah, this kind of what I'm talking about.
Can You Feel the Sunshine from Sonic Racing has to be one of my favorites.
Yeah. Hell yes.
Even like the hoverboard games, Sonic Riders.
Oh,
dude, that has a pretty good soundtrack too.
That's one of my favorite games.
I forgot who the group is that does a lot of the music, but it's the same kind of thing with
Crush 40.
You're right.
Yeah.
Or Zebrahead's another one. Is Guilty Gear. How they have like a group that like does a lot of like all their music.
Right.
Basically, it's the same kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That is bullshit.
So yeah.
Oh man.
That was dope.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the name of the track is, but it's one that's actually two that play in Sonic Adventure DX on like the beach level. I can't remember what it's called. I want to say Emerald Isles. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But
Emerald Coast?
yes, Emerald Coast. That was it.
Yeah.
Love that level. Yes. Oh my god. Dude.
It's been a while since I've heard Sonic DX.
Yeah,
that's
I
been
love
a
that.
while.
That's old as hell. I used to
You're
download
right.
the demo on Windows
You're
PC
right.
and play that first
You're
level
right.
to fucking hell.
Same.
Yes.
Same.
I had my exposure to Sonic other than like the old 2D titles because my sisters would play them.
Oh yeah.
I played the demo for Sonic DX on the GameCube demo disc
You're right.
that came with the system.
Yeah.
Sonic
was-
DX had demos everywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know how I played mine. I think it was the PC as well.
Yeah, same.
Mhm.
Yeah. It was a free download, a free
You're right.
trial.
Yeah.
Man.
First match.
But you old as hell to know a demo disc.
I tried out Beautiful Joe. I tried out oh god, what were the other ones? I don't even remember. Oh Jesus.
Bro, I had so many like CD-ROM games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like there was I had like my dad I think he used to like auction off like computers and stuff. So he used to like have old computer parts. He would like build his own computers. Like, but this is like back in like early 2000s. So like, I mean, they're not anything spectacular.
Mhm.
But I remember having like Age of Empires. I remember having
yeah.
like Command and Conquer, dude. I had like the full like game set for Command and Conquer.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was crazy. I think my uncle used to play Warcraft. A lot of these are, like turn-based strategy games because that's all they kind of had.
Mm.
They had some other ones, but those were the big ones. But I remember those. Crazy.
That is dope. That is any PC gaming, old school PC gaming stories?
So I think whenever I had gotten into PC gaming, my dad had gotten a computer custom built from I think one of his old coworkers. And I like went to the guy's house to pick it up with him, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
First game I got was Team Fortress 2.
Oh, yeah.
And Gary's
legend.
mod.
Gary's mod, yeah.
Wow.
And then I slowly stumbled upon the Half-Life series.
Oh, snap.
I had discovered Half-Life through this online like YouTube machinima called Freeman's Mind.
Yes. Oh, you showed me that.
Yes,
That's so funny.
It's the funniest fucking thing I know of. And after seeing like how the original Half-Life looked and played, I was like, man, I gotta get my hands on this shit.
Freeman's Mind is like you know what it is?
I don't know.
It's like a guy plays.
Can we pull up an episode after this?
Yeah, it's like a guy who knows Half-Life so well. Like he knows where all the monsters are. Like he knows where all the stuff is around.
He
But
goes through the game,
right,
acting as Freeman's like inner monologue.
yeah,
Oh.
he's like talking in his head, and he has some funny quips and
It
stuff.
is so
It's really
fucking
good.
funny. My
Yeah.
favorite one being, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, everyone dies. It's so
Yeah,
good.
That's funny.
Bro said machinima.
Yeah, once upon a
God,
time.
Stop
my
showing your
again.
age.
I know,
Yeah,
I know.
You're right.
I'm so old.
They
I
had-
miss machinima.
There was for me, I remember I had sometime in high school. I had a laptop, like an old Toshiba laptop, and my best friend at the time had purchased Lord of the Rings Online,
Oh, man.
and I want to say that there may have been some other. I think I may have played like Warcraft 3. I played like I played some other games with him, like the OG like Dota, like when it was like a mod inside Warcraft 3. Like we played that a whole bunch and like other stuff like that. But like the first game that I remember like that was my conversion from being a console gamer to like a PC gamer was Lord of the Rings Online. And I remember there was a summer. It was the summer of 2010, and I got. I want to say at some point in June, you can get at the time it was a subscription based, like every MMO was back in 2000s. But I think sometime in June during summer break, before I started high school, or like I think it was around the time of like freshman year. I started a 1 month free trial, and I got hooked hard.
Yeah.
I remember I got they're called kinships in the game, which is like kind of guilds, if you want to, for other terms. I got involved with a kinship with my best friend. We got involved with people from Australia, from Canada, from like the West Coast, and like it was crazy. It was the first time I got the chance to like, and we all had again, you'll talk about showing my age. We had a Ventrilo, which is like a push to talk service, like before there was Discord.
Oh my god!
So like I had to like open like a chat browser that would
push
like
to talk service.
Right. So we would all enter a Ventrilo chat, which I think had to pay for. I think our kin leader paid for it. So anyways, so like we used to like hop in voice chat, or like Skype calls.
Damn.
Yeah, exactly. And so we would all like hang out and talk in Skype and do raids and do runs and all that kind of stuff. But I remember that I've never had an emotional moment like that with a game, that whenever my month was running out, I didn't have a job, and so I didn't have a way of like paying for more subscription. So like I was like counting down the days until it was over with, and I was like, and all my friends that I had made now in this kinship that were like involved in all these things, and like I was like really making friendships in this like team-based game where everyone has like a role and everyone's doing a thing. I remember that like they all, whenever like my subscription was running out, because they knew the story, they knew I was
right.
a teenager, but they all came together and we had like a little celebration or whatever, like the literally the 30 days of me being on this game, how far I gotten and like all that kind of stuff, and
Yeah,
they like
a little going away party.
they gave me like presents and stuff, and it was like like they all gave me like send-offs and all that kind of stuff, and I was like, man,
that's amazing,
right, which I think is why I think I had such a formative experience in that game. I think it's why I love games that are like that. I love games that are like team-based, cooperative, there are roles, there are things, because like I think I have all these nostalgic games that really were like console-based games that really, but like I had some formative experiences in like an MMO format.
Yeah.
So it's crazy to think about that, but I still love Lord of the Rings Online today. It's a great game. It's old because it released in 2007.
Right. Those 2000 MMOs were legendary. That was a legendary time for MMOs.
Right. I mean, I obviously World of Warcraft. I never played it, but I had friends that did, and that's the same thing. That engulfed culture for what felt like a decade, I feel like.
Yeah, that's true.
So
crazy stuff.
You had an MMO story?
I don't actually.
That was to like circle back around to the original statement. That was like the first game that I feel like really got me locked in, because after I had played Lord of the Rings Online, I very quickly got like a Steam account back then in 2010, and like started buying all kinds of games that whatever I could at that point in time, tower defense games or whatever else it may be. So, but that was the first one that I was like I bought a headset to like talk to people. I was like, I bought all the accessories. I went really into it. I was like, I'm going to do this now.
So they threw you a going away party because your month free trial was over?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like I had told them, I was like, I'm only, because the story goes, it was myself and my best friend. My best friend's older brother was a part of that kinship. So like between the three of us, we were all kind of like the new kids on the block in a way, and I was the newest of the bunch. And my friend and his older brother told the rest of the kin, like, hey, we vouched for him. He's like a good guy. He's not going to cause a problem or whatever. And in fact, like he's on a month free trial. So like the whole like 30 days where I was playing, I was like, I don't really have any money to like extend this going. But I was like, but I'm gonna make good as best I can, and I think I did. So I made at least somewhat of an impression, because they were like, we're sad to see
Enough
you go.
to throw you a party.
Yeah,
bro.
right. So it was a
virtual one.
You
at that.
became somebody.
well, right. And at that time, I was like, I never had a game that did that.
Mhm.
I never had an experience like that. So I was like, I all of a sudden felt like I'm invested now.
Yeah.
I put some time, I put some energy, and I was like, man, and I made some friends that were like, real people from around the world. Some of which I still have on Facebook today, which is crazy to think about, but it's, anyways. So that's
the Lotro days.
Lotro days, yeah.
I have a similar story to that. Well, as far as like my PC gaming experience, the first game I can remember playing on PC was probably like Tarzan. On Windows 95 CD-ROM.
Wow.
And no, that was a great game, but it was also on PS1 as well.
Right.
But other than playing a bunch of Flash games in the 2000s, because that was all I had to do.
That was everybody.
Yeah, for
Newgrounds,
sure.
Armor
Newgrounds,
Bruh.
miniclipgames.com,
all of
Congrit.
Yeah.
So many websites.
I had a friend of mine who I don't know how he would find them, but every time he would come over, that dude would have some new Flash game that he would show me, and I was like, "How'd you find this?" And he's like, "Oh, I just did," and I was like, "Cool." So anyways,
Flash games were dope. And then, of course, there were MMOs. But, like, all throughout my childhood, I mean, of course, because it was the 2000s, I always had sucky PCs. Crazy, crappy PCs that would load forever. They were just slow, period. So I really had to fight to play these online games. And so the first computer that I had was an E-Machines in 2005.
Wow.
Yeah, you got to be old to remember E-Machines. And so I remember, like, games like Perfect World Online. Fusion Fall came out.
Man,
oh my God.
Dude, you want to talk about a perfect
I
world?
completely forgot about Fusion Fall.
threw me back a little bit. I wasn't expecting that one.
That was old. Yeah, I remember all of those obscure ass MMOs. And I remember that I downloaded Fusion Fall late as hell at night, and it took like 4 or 5 hours to complete the download. I had to just leave my computer alone that whole time. I was in bed, and I remember like my computer used to make these sounds. Like it wasn't just a coherent sound. It was just like it loading. It'd be like
guttural sound.
So, I knew when the download was finished. And so I was like, oh my God, it finished. And then I click. It was early, 1 a.m. in the morning. I was supposed to be asleep. I was trying to be quiet, trying to look at Fusion Fall. All of my favorite cartoon characters looked like anime characters. It was sick. Right. I wanted to play that. And
I remember whenever the internet was fast enough to where I remember hitting 1 megabyte per second, like 1 to 3 megabytes per second. Where I was like, I used to like download updates or download games, and I was like, bro, we're at 1 megabyte a second. It's like, how crazy is that?
Look at that.
Yeah, I mean,
how fast.
right, and now I think I'm at 300 and something or whatever. But like, it's crazy to think about how like that was. I remember that where I was like, dude, look at us. I peaked at 2. I peaked at 2.5.
Yeah, wow.
I'm like, I'm crazy. Anyways,
no, that was facts. That was
broke the record.
Yeah.
Man.
I really didn't fall in love with an MMO though until about 2010, where there was this company called Outspark, and they made the Fiesta game, which was a very big game for them. But I wasn't really into Fiesta. They had another MMO called Fist of Fu, which was kind of like, if you're familiar with the game El Sword.
Yeah,
it was kind of like a Chinese knockoff that had came out in America before El Sword had came in America, even though El Sword was a Korean game. So I started playing that game, and I fell in love with it. And it was only really out from 2010 to about 2011, and they shut it down.
Really?
Which killed me because I wasn't expecting it. I'd played the game throughout pretty much its entire life, and everybody kind of hated me on the game. Like everybody hated me. I mean, I was 13. I was probably an asshole, and I was just talking shit, and but I had an epic sword. I had this sword, and I was just like, that was like all my pride and everything went into my sword. Yeah. And so people would shit on me, but they'd be like, "Oh yeah, that's a cool sword you got there, master." Yeah. I was like, "Yeah,
that's what I thought."
Right. But they even had a marriage system in the game, and I married this chick, and she hated me. And didn't even want to be like married to me anymore.
Wow.
And yeah, it was
That's real
crazy.
world stuff there.
Yeah, it was terrible.
It was terrible. I got married. It was awful.
Some real life lessons in an MMO.
Hey, I'm telling you, man. I'm not gonna lie. I haven't thought about Fiesta in years.
Yes.
I had a friend of mine who used to love playing that one.
Oh, really? Wow.
That brought me back. Yeah.
You know your stuff. You know your stuff.
It's been. I mean, it's been a while, but like, yeah, that's crazy to think about. That there's a handful of other ones that I can't remember now. There was a bunch of different. Like at that point in time, everyone was trying to jump on the bandwagon of of WoW.
That's true.
But yeah.
Well, in future news, I got 2 big releases I'm looking forward to this month.
Uh-oh.
Those of which being by order of release, Bomb Rush Cyberpunk.
Okay.
Super
The
cool.
spiritual successor to Jet Set Radio.
Oh, snap.
Looking amazing so far.
Yes.
And then the big one.
The big one.
Armored Core 6. Coming out on the 25th.
A little background for you.
Yeah.
I want to say it was probably about a year ago. I had stumbled across an article that said that the makers of Dark Souls from Software had
biggest name in the game.
right.
Yeah.
Had gotten some people, some beta testers and some stuff, and gave them a survey, and were like, let's say hypothetically we were to have an action mech game where it's heavily customizable and mission based and action and explosions and boss fights.
And so forth.
How would you feel about that? And like that was their survey towards like the people, and I didn't get any idea of what the actual outcome of the survey was,
because Armored Core had been out of the loop for so long,
and
damn near a decade.
On the first Armored Core I played was Armored Core 2 on the PlayStation 2, and I loved that game. I loved all the Armored Cores. I've played almost all of them, and I remember sitting here and was like, if they're gonna try and release a new Armored Core game, I'm gonna be ecstatic. I'm gonna be really excited. I'm gonna be really hyped about it. But I'm not sure. Again, it's all just hearsay. It's all who knows? Maybe not.
I'll never forget one night I got home from work.
Oh gosh.
And I was walking, even was like doing some dishes. I was walking up and I was talking to him, seeing how his day was going.
Yeah.
I bring up my feed on YouTube and I see Armored Core 6
fire
reveal trailer. I'm like,
yeah.
I could not believe my eyes. I
It
thought I
felt
was
like
fucking dreaming.
It felt like it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, because it did.
Yeah.
And we pull it up and it is
Beautiful.
the most excited I've ever been since they announced like No More Heroes 3.
Yeah.
The most hyped I've been for a game release, like to this day.
Right.
And I cannot wait any longer for it.
I'm really excited for it.
A mech fan's wet dream.
Exactly.
Armored Core 6. The fires of Rubicon.
It's going to be so good.
Yeah.
It definitely looks very pretty,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm excited. I think they're going to do it justice. That was the one thing that we sat there, and of course, as we do, we were sitting there like, what do we think they're going to do? Because they haven't touched.
So happy.
They haven't touched the Armored Core IP in 10 years.
Right.
It's like you got to. I mean, you could
Last
be
release was back in 2013.
you could be dusting this boy off.
I was a kid.
Right. And so it's like, at this point, I was like, what are we hypothetically thinking that they're going to be doing?
Mm-hmm.
So we obviously we pondered
shop about it.
We pondered what we'd like to see out of it and stuff. And I think we actually had an episode on it. We talked about it
definitely.
because we're just too hyped about
We're
it.
that excited. I had to get it off our chest.
Yeah, right. So, what a fun time.
Still doing it.
I mean, hey, it's I think that's good marketing in some way.
Yeah.
Don't overhype it too much, but give us just enough to go.
Right. Yeah, nice little chunk.
Yeah, I love it.
That's facts.
Here's a little preview of what I got.
Well,
man.
so I guess is there any other stories you want to drag up from ages long hence?
Maybe not quite so long ago, but on the topic of Venus Wars, the last time it was mentioned was whenever Myron had come over for like the usual shindig that we have every so often.
Right.
And it was like while I was still getting through like the Final Fantasy 16 demo,
Oh, dude.
which was an event in and of itself, but he had mentioned like on the topic of like stuff to watch, he had mentioned Venus Wars, and I was like, I just got that motherfucker in the mail, not but 3 days ago.
He said that.
He read my mind.
Yeah. Can I say, dude, we mentioned that night on the podcast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we were all joking around, and I was like, it felt so hype because few times do we get to all come together and really get hyped about something, or just like get all, engaged like that before.
Yeah.
And I was like,
The moment we see that camera pan up to that fucking dragoon just
We're all
balancing on the tip of that tower, dude.
bruh, I was like, I thought it was
so cool.
It was so hype.
That was epic. Are we talking about
We're talking about Final
Final
Fantasy.
Fantasy 16?
Yes.
I was like, oh yeah.
Right.
There was
that night was epic.
That night was great.
That night was epic.
And that's what I was saying. Is like I think I was excited about the game already. It was the demo, and I think a couple of people there, I think John at least, had like played through it already. But I think he was still hyped for everything that was going on.
Of course.
And I think in the episode that we were talking about this, I had jokingly said, I was like, Myron is hilarious because like I remember whatever the little boy or whatever Josh was like little prince or whatever. And they were like, "What can I get you?" And he's like, "I need 2 bad bitches.
I need 1,000 gold and 2 bad bitches.
1,000 kill.
1,000 kill, 2
so
bad
good.
bitches. I need to be a bad bitch and a worse bitch."
You know what's so funny? I gotta say this because I had already owned the full game of Final Fantasy 16 when I came over and saw y'all were playing the demo.
Yeah.
So the crazy thing about it was I had more fun watching the demo with y'all than really playing it by myself because y'all had surpassed where I was in the demo.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, in the full game in the demo.
Right.
You know, so I'd only played the beginning margin of the game.
Yeah.
So I kind of had some contextual like knowledge about the game before, playing the game with y'all and watching the demo. But everybody was relaxed. Everybody was drinking a beer. Was just enjoying the game, watching the story. So it was fun as hell, just clowning
And that's
everything that was going on.
Right. And that's what I think we were talking about. We were reminiscing after the fact whenever everyone went home. Yeah. We were like, we don't get to do that very often where we're all just like, really getting hyped about something like that. And that was because, again, it was so new. And I mean, obviously, for anybody out there who's played the tail end of the demo, or I guess it's like the first chapter of the game, it gets heavy at the end. And we were all like, I mean, it's pretty intense.
Right.
And so it was a great night. It was also 4th of July. So I mean, there's like Myron was saying, we were all imbibing in some fun times. But I was like, I want to do things like that more often, where we can all just get hyped about a game.
Yes.
So.
You better believe we're going to be doing that for Armored Core.
Dude.
A fucking release party, bro.
Hell yeah.
If that collector's edition doesn't come in the day of release, I'm going to GameStop and picking up the other copy I pre-ordered.
Oh, damn.
I think you ordered 2?
Yes, I pre-ordered this thing twice. Now, the funny story behind that is that as soon as I knew it was available for pre-order,
This guy.
I went to GameStop immediately and was like, give me that shit.
Hey,
Put all the money down for it. It's good to go as soon as it's ready. And then these motherfuckers release the trailer that reveals the collector's edition and the premium edition. And I'm like, well, fuck. Now I have to pre-order the premium edition.
Yeah, right.
And it was sold out.
The premium
within
edition
minutes.
The premium edition comes with a model of the I guess
the
it's the
mascot mech.
No way.
Yeah.
Yes, it comes with a model, and not only that, an art book. We got metal tins. We got little patches, and art, like all sorts of cool stuff. A little bit of the soundtrack, and an entire garage diorama for the little mech statue.
Right. Damn.
And that version of it,
like
retail.
$450.
I bet.
that version of it, like the second that trailer dropped, that one was sold out.
God.
Yeah.
And so he was like, well, I guess I'm just gonna get the one just below it.
Imagine having to settle for a collector's edition.
Right. But the thing is, the only difference between the collector's edition was the fact that it doesn't have the garage diorama.
Right. It still comes with everything else.
Right.
If it didn't, like, I'm telling you, man, I put myself on a mailing list for get a notification when that thing goes back in stock. And they did get back to me eventually, but by that time it was too late, man. I just couldn't wait.
Yeah.
And that's my own fault.
Was that the most expensive game you've pre-ordered collector's edition?
Yes, this will have been the most expensive.
Yeah, because that's way more than, like the most expensive game I bought probably was like the Kingdom Hearts 3 Deluxe Edition. It came out
really?
with the Toy Story Play Arts Kai figurines, yeah. And that was like $300, I believe. $300-something. But
interesting.
that was back in 2019.
Man,
damn.
I can't believe Kingdom Hearts 3 has been out for that long. Yeah. That trips me
That's
up.
so true.
No, that trips me up.
Because the wait for it was so damn long.
You're right.
And I remember that whole big long ass wait.
Yeah.
And now that was like almost 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So I never anticipated that I would even be this far in the future. Like, I remember being a kid, I remember only really thinking about my life up until like 2012 or 2015. Yeah. Like, I didn't even anticipate anything after that. But
crazy.
Yeah. But I know that was off topic. But yeah.
Wow. I'm trying to think about, for me, is what kind of collector's editions have I purchased for something? I can't remember.
The Big Boy Edition.
Right.
Yeah.
All of the cool toys.
I purchased a couple of them. Like, that was my heyday. I don't really need to buy the biggest collection of the game I want anymore. I just don't have space for it, or, I'd be content just getting the game. Maybe a couple DLC bonuses or whatever, but, and I'm not knocking you for buying the big collector's edition, because I get it. They set it up for you to be like, I gotta have it.
I do, man. It sucks.
Well, especially for like a guy like Dylan, like, he has like a collection of like really cool stuff.
I wouldn't do this for just any game.
He's got everything.
I mean, if at the very least, if nothing else, he's got a great collection of like art books for games that are like it's really beautiful.
Some of which I got with the editions they came with. Others I was able to find at like thrift stores.
Yeah,
right.
Secondhand bookstores.
Yes, exactly. But man, it's.
That's crazy.
I'm happy.
Yeah, it's great.
People come to my room and they'd be like, "Dude, you've got everything," and I'm just like,
"Because you do."
No.
No.
I look at you and I'm like, he's got everything.
As soon as I got back from your house, I was talking Ian's ear off like, this motherfucker has every setup. The setup that I have seen in my dreams that I hope to one day have. He's got it.
You know what? I want to mirror force it back to you, because it's like everything that I don't have in my collection, Dylan's definitely got.
There you go.
Dylan's got what I've got, and he's got some other stuff too. So.
I just got lucky, man. That's all it is.
I'm trying to think of like also some obscure stuff. Like you have like a Panzer Dragoon Sega game, is that right?
Like
I was able, I told Myron about this. I was able to find the original Panzer Dragoon for the Sega Saturn. I don't even have a Saturn.
Right.
But as soon as I have to have it.
Yeah.
I want.
I'm trying to think of like things like that. There's like some obscure things, and I'm like, bro, I didn't get. Wow, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm. That's why he has everything. I don't have Panzer Dragoon. He does.
I need that for the Sega Saturn. Yeah. Yeah, you've been lucky with some of your finds.
I have
some great
Lest
finds.
we forget the globe-trotting hunt we went on for No More Heroes.
Oh God,
I could not find a copy of either one for the longest time, and both instances,
the original ones on the Wii.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I found the second one at Second and Charles.
Yeah.
After looking for God knows how long,
You're right.
I had that one, but the original, man.
It's elusive.
It evaded me for so long.
That is so funny that you say that.
I saw a picture of this little game store in where was it? Texas?
It is somewhere,
somewhere
in Texas. Yeah.
And I was like, I see it on the shelf. They have to have it still, right? How old is this picture? And I'm like, do you guys want to go to Texas? And they're like, yeah, yeah, let's go. And man, not only did I not find No More Heroes there, I was able to pick up some pretty good stuff. We did see some cool stores.
Well, what's it? You picked it. The funny thing is too is like I there's a lot of times where like Dylan will
I picked up the Hollywood video version of Armored Core Silent Line.
There's a handful of times where Dylan will walk into the room with like a bag and it's like a new haul,
right?
And I'm like, hell yeah, let's see what we got here. And I'll
some primo catches in this
I'll
one, bro.
see a couple of them. And I'm like, oh yeah, I know what that is, or oh I know what this is, or whatever. But like the thing that trips me up is like sometimes he'll come in here with some like obscure game.
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, what is this one? And he's like, oh, I don't know what that is either. I just picked it up. And it's like a PS2 game of, what was that one that we got while you were in Texas? I can't remember.
It was
like,
it
was like you can transform into a plane.
Yeah.
Is it a mech? Is it a plane?
It was fucking
It's
God,
both.
gunmetal.
Gunmetal.
Yes.
It's like
It
what?
was so
It's
hilarious.
like, what is this? And I always love looking at the back on like the tagline.
Yes.
Of-
That has how my like taste in games has evolved.
Yeah.
I won't know a damn thing about it, but if it's got a really goofy ass like tagline, I'm gonna be sold.
The taglines are the best part, especially for older school games.
Yeah,
They don't do the
exactly.
taglines.
I'm pretty sure for gunmetal it says, "Is it a mech? Is it a plane? It's both."
Yeah.
It's like, oh, it's great.
Oh man.
So yeah, there's a whole bunch of good
Ridiculous.
stuff. Anyways, okay, I think it's time for us to land this plane.
We've been riding high for a while.
Right. Thank you so much, Myron, for being on the show.
Mm-hmm.
This is everything that I wish it would have been.
Yes.
For an episode. And I do really want you to come back
Mm-hmm.
for what is it called again? Venus Wars?
Venus Wars, yes.
Yes.
Oh.
Legitimately.
Right.
next
I
time.
was
Yeah,
like, is it going to be a trick next time?
yeah.
But I honestly appreciate being. Thank you for having me. I love being here. This was excellent. This was an amazing experience, and I'm just really happy to be a part of this.
I'm
Thank
glad.
you, man. Well, for anybody out there who's looking to find us, we have a Linktree / Ian Wolf, where you can find all the links to find all the stuff, or you can just type in The Aftermath on all the major podcasting platforms, and you should be able to find us that way. Or I heard if you also boot up an OG Xbox 360, even if it has a red ring of death, and you open the CD drive, the podcast is inside there.
Yeah, we're the reason that
Right.
it happened.
Right. I think if you if you find a really obscure Sega Genesis game in the back of like an old store, you gotta really look hard though. But I think
we really hammer home the tagline of Genesis does what Nintendo don't.
Well, anyways, thank you so much for listening. Bye bye.
See ya.
Peace.